let's go straight into Cressida.
Okay, so last Thursday, we learned that Natalie Dormer was cast as Cressida, and if you are a Game of Thrones fan, then you absolutely know who Natalie Dormer is. She plays Marjorie Tyrell on Game of Thrones. She was also on The Tudors, and I think she played Anne Boleyn. I've never seen The Tudors. I want to. Have any of you guys seen that? Did she play Anne Boleyn?
She
no
did.
One knows.
She did.
And
she gave a very heady,
but I haven't seen
performance.
it either.
So
I really want to see it.
Bad Henry VIII joke. I don't know if you heard what I said.
Oh, what was your joke? I didn't. I
said she gave a very heady performance, which was a very poor.
Okay, that was.
Yeah.
And she was also another kind of notable film that she was in was Casanova with Heath Ledger, which Adam got me to see, and it was good. So those are some things that she's been in that she's known for. So let's talk about how we feel about this casting decision. Oh, and just to remind everyone, if you've totally forgotten who Cressida is, don't feel bad. Even though she's in Mockingjay for a long period of time, she's a pretty small character, and I think a lot of people, she sort of slipped away from many people's minds, but she is a young woman. She's from the capital, but she joined the rebellion and fled to District 13. She is bald, her head's shaved, and she has tattoos of green vines all over her head, and she spins Mockingjay following Katniss around and, making the propos and all of that. She's the director. I don't know if I mentioned that. But, yeah, so that's who she is. Crystal, let's start with you because I know that you are a big Game of Thrones fan, and I know you were excited about this casting announcement. So are you pumped that Natalie Dormer will be in the franchise now?
Yeah, I was really excited because I thought I had never seen her in anything before Game of Thrones. And Marjorie Tyrell they really expanded her role on the show compared to the books, I thought. So, the way that she took the character, I thought was awesome. So, I was really excited to hear that she was cast in the movie. It was weird because I was one of the people that I had to go look up Cressida because I was like, okay, wait, is she Plutarch's assistant or is she the director? Because I couldn't remember between the two of them. And I had no idea she was bald with green vine tattoos on her head. So when people started making the bald comments, I was like, what? So, yeah, I read Mockingjay too fast. I need to go back and read it again. So, but yeah, I was really excited. I was excited to see her name is all.
I just started rereading Mockingjay, and I've already kind of discovered a few things that I had just completely forgotten about. So I highly recommend that everyone reread Mockingjay if you haven't already. Ariel, what are your thoughts? Are you familiar with Natalie Dormer? Do you think she will be good at bringing this small role to life and giving it some more substance? I think we might have just lost Ariel. Shylah, I turn to you.
I love her. I loved her in Game of Thrones. Marjorie, which is how David and I refer to her, Marjorie in the show is one of my favorite characters. Like Crystal said, her role is so much more bulked up in the show than in the books that it's really nice to see what, and I don't know if that's because they stumbled upon this, actress who had a much greater range than they were expecting, and so, the role kind of grew because the actress was there to fill it out. So I'm hoping that's what we see with Cressida. I had no idea who she was, and I was kind of, really confused as to why, because I think we were all expecting, Annie or Coyne or, someone with some kind, give me, oh God, what's that girl's name? Deli Cartwright, That's who I was expecting to come out first. But then, I went on Tumblr. I found the Nicola Nickart, Photoshop that he did in the first 15 minutes after her casting. And, he had her bald with the vines. And so I'm 100% into it. I hope they go all the way with the look. I think she'll pull it off. And I'm super duper excited because I love her. I want to see her in everything.
I love her as well. Ariel is back with us. So, Ariel, I don't know if you heard my question to you, but are you familiar with Natalie? Oh, okay. No, that's totally fine. So are you familiar with Natalie Dormer's work at all, and are you excited about seeing her name attached to this franchise?
I am actually not familiar with her work because I stopped watching Game of Thrones because I'm reading the books. So from what I know of Marjorie's character, I'm very excited now that I know that she's more fleshed out in the show. I'm excited. I think it's great. Like, I was looking at pictures of her, and I feel like Game of Thrones is a wonderful franchise, and they've picked spot-on actors for just about everything they've done. So the fact that one of them is going to be in the Hunger Games franchise, I think that is pretty fantastic, and I'm very much looking forward to finally watching the rest of Season 2 and Season 3 of Game of Thrones once I finish the books.
Yeah, I have not read the books, so I don't know what Marjorie is like in the books, but Natalie Dormer is so just fantastic on the series. I love her. I think Marjorie is probably one of my favorite characters now just because of her. I think she has such a great presence, and I think that's really good for a character like Cressida, who could easily just kind of fade into the background. But, having someone like Natalie play her will make her more memorable, I think. Adam, we want to know what you think. I
think she's not just going to be a Cressida. I think she's going to be the Cressida that we all wanted. That was a Game of Thrones joke. No, I'm thrilled, and I think, as I mentioned earlier, I actually did see her on the Tudors, and so when I first saw her on Thrones, I said, oh, that was Anne Boleyn from the Tudors, when I saw her appear there. And I think, Shylah, I agree with you, Marjorie is one of the most intriguing characters on the show, and that's very much in part to the way that Natalie Dormer plays her. So I think this is a great call for the Mockingjay team. It's going to be a terrific casting. I think everybody's going to really like her. There's just no way this is going to end up poorly. I don't know how truly involved Cressida's character is going to be in the script, but I assume she'll get at least a decent amount of screen time with Natalie Dormer there, and I find it hard to believe that this could be anything but a plus to the movie. There's no way this is bad.
Yeah, I totally agree. So do you guys think, I personally don't think it'll happen, but a lot of people have been wondering, do you think she will actually shave her head? I find it doubtful.
Karen Gillian did. Amy Pond from Doctor Who just shaved her head for Guardians of the Galaxy, so it's not unheard of for someone. I mean, in Game of Thrones, she wears a wig, so I don't think it would hurt her role in that show as well, assuming, she survives the next season. It's not unheard of. I mean, we just had one major actress do that.
It would be awesome if she did. I can kind of picture her doing it. She seems like she'd be the type who wouldn't have a problem with shaving her head. I don't know. I'm acting like I know her. I really don't know anything about her personally. But I think it would be awesome if she did shave her head, just because, I feel like you can kind of always tell if it's a bald cap or whatever. It's possible that they might not even give her the shaved head look, although I think that's an intriguing aspect of the character's physical appearance. I don't know. Any other thoughts about Natalie Dormer? There's really not much to say. She's so cool. She's incredibly talented.
I did want to say that I really liked about her casting was that, she in Game of Thrones and just in general, just looking at her picture, she has this very stern and yet very pretty, and yet I don't know. She just looks like she'd be a good bossy director, especially for Katniss.
She does.
She looks like somebody who could just tell people what to do, and she'll give you that feeling that you better listen to her, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think this really leads into where they're going with the Mockingjay script, because I don't think you cast, someone. And Natalie, she's a great actress. She's not A-list yet by any means, but I would think she's high in the B-list. I don't think you get someone of that caliber in this role without it being, somewhat substantial. And so I think, we've got one book left and 2 films. I think this is kind of a good indication of maybe where they're going to start fleshing out some of those parts. So I think that's we're going to be seeing a lot more of the propos and maybe the work behind the scenes, kind of like we did in the first Hunger Games with Seneca Crane's expanded role.